Okay, let me set up the recording. All right, we're good to go.
Okay. Hey everybody. My name is Megan Devorss. I have been in a few short months. I have been in this for 2 years. It'll be my 2-year anniversary. I think the end of May. I'm an orange status, and I hit orange last March. It'll be almost a year. I've been setting at orange for a year. So I am a mom of 3. I have a 9-year-old, an 8-year-old, and an almost 2-year-old. So we're very busy. In case you don't know, I'm also a nurse full time. So I work like 4 10-hour shifts a week, Tuesday through Friday. And then, so I do this business full time. I also work as a nurse full time. My husband also travels for work and is gone like 4 days a week. So I'm not really a stay-at-home mom, but kind of a full-time single mom during the week too. So I don't like excuses about people when they tell me they don't have time to do something, because I'm like, girl, you got time. You got time. If I got time, you got time. So anywho, I just got back from Houston. I went to the Leadership Summit with Eric Worre there. And you guys, it was exactly what I needed, exactly when I needed it. And I'm going to kind of go into a little bit with you. I'm going to be a little vulnerable with you about kind of my business and where I've been for a while. Because one thing that Eric talked about was the Success Coma. And I know that several people can probably relate to this, because I feel like it's almost been felt company-wide for the last several months. And if there was one thing that I took away from him, it was that I needed to stop lying to myself, and I needed to be honest about where I was in my business and what I was not doing. And that was building. That was, I was being complacent in where I had hit and where I was at. And I was kind of expecting my team to fall suit and me to just, lead. And that's it. And that didn't happen. And I fell on my face, and I needed to. And that was just part of the journey. And that is kind of what we're going to talk about, is how to rise from that, because that's what I've been struggling with. I've known it for a while, but I haven't known how to get out of it for a while. I've tried, but everything that I had done in the past to get out of that little unmotivated part of my business wasn't working. All the PD in the world wasn't working. All the mindset training wasn't working. And I didn't know why. And I couldn't really figure out where I needed to go or what I needed to do. And he told me one simple thing over the weekend, and I implemented it today. And you guys, I feel like I'm a new person. Like, I feel like I'm a newbie. I feel like I'm a yellow status who just started, who's super excited to be in this business again. And I hadn't felt this excitement in a really long time. So what resonated was a success coma. So basically, that's when you have been working up to a certain goal, you hit it, and you're like, okay, I hit it. I did it. I did it. I did what I have always been wanting to do. So now what? And that's what happened. We build up elite. We build up green status. We build up that elite leadership role. And I had worked towards it for a year, and I had finally hit it, even though I want black status. Black status is the ultimate goal, of course, but it's like hitting elite status was good enough for me at the time. And I hit it and was like, okay, here I am. I made it. Yay, me. I made it. And thought I could just sit there and just be happy for making it. But that's not what happened. And so you don't know what to do. You get complacent in the status that you've hit. I wasn't paid as every month. I haven't been paid as an elite status every single month. I was just happy with where I was at. And I was leading a team of up around 200 girls that were really active and were really happy to be selling. And I just thought, hey, here we are, we've made it. And now I'm standing here by myself with my elite that's under me, and that's it. Where's everybody else? Where did everybody go? You know, I thought they were going to stick around, but they didn't, because I wasn't being the model leader for them. There was nothing for them to watch. So I really had to take a hard look at that, because vulnerability and honesty about yourself and where you are in the business is going to be so good. You know, just like 12-step program, you got to accept it first before you can fix it, right? You got to accept it. And I just noticed that I was sending out the wrong message. So I was sponsoring, or I was sending out sponsoring messages, but my messages were more like, you know, if you want to join, you can. If not, no big deal. There's plenty of time, you know, like there was no excitement behind it. There was no, hey dog, there was no like urgency. And so people were like, oh, she's not really that worried about me joining or not. And so they didn't, you know, it just wasn't sponsoring with fire. And so therefore my team didn't grow. So I've been doing every type of PD, every type of motivation I could think of. I would feel the fire while I was listening to it. I was like, I'd get done listening to something and I would be like, yes, let's go, I'm ready. Okay. And about 5 minutes later, I'd be like, ugh, gosh, do I really have to send messages? Do I really have to go live? Do I really have to talk to people? Nah, it'll be fine. I'll do it tomorrow. Tomorrow would come, it'll be fine. I don't feel like it today. I'll do it the next day. Slipped into like the worst flipping depression ever. Network marketing depression. I'm a nurse. I can self-diagnose, and I'm just saying that like network marketing depression is a real thing, and we're gonna coin the term. So this is what Eric told me over the weekend, and has helped me like get back on track. He said, you need a project. You need a project. That's all you have to do to get out of your success coma. You got to have a project. Find a project, do it. Don't quit till it's done. The project will create a drive. The drive will create a fire. You'll be back. Like, okay, I can do a project. So 20 and 30. Obviously, that should be everybody's first project that they're working on right now. 20 and 30. Do it. It's your project. I went all in, made the decision, went all in with 20 and 30 today, literally today. And well, kind of yesterday. I sponsored one last night. I had not sponsored anybody in months, you guys. In months. I'm an orange status. I have not sponsored anybody in months, and got one last night. And I legit am like, okay, I'm back. Let's go. I've been working my tail off all day. In fact, I wanted to sit down and get tonight's notes like put together, so I would kind of know what I was talking about. Didn't have time. I was so busy sponsoring today, or sending sponsoring messages out today, I didn't even sit down and like go over my notes. So this is completely on the fly. Completely, because I just didn't have time today. I was busy working on my project, and my fire has been there today. I am lit. And I haven't felt this way since I probably hit orange status last March. So moving on, we're going to move on, because the success coma's in the past. We're moving on. We're going to move forward. We're done with that. I'm done with that part of my business and my life, and we're moving on. Okay. So that was like opening topic. So you say you must, yes, you have to get to events. That was going to be my like ending point. You've got to get to events, you guys. It doesn't even matter how big or how small. You got to get to events. It's just a non-negotiable. Okay. So more talking about leadership. Obviously went to a leadership summit, so it was more focused on leading a team, and what some helpful hints on how to develop influencers on your team. Okay, so everybody wants influencers on their team. These are people who are focused, driven, motivated, hungry coachable people. Okay. These aren't kidnappers. These aren't people who just are doing it for the makeup. These aren't people who just want to put up spammy posts every day and see what happens. These are like the business people, the ones that are in it to win it. Okay. Everybody's favorite, right? So how can you develop them as a leader to be an influencer? Because when they first start, they're not always an influencer. You know, some people get lucky and find that girl who's like, got it. You don't even have to do anything with her. Those are great. They don't happen very frequently. And we tell them that when we sponsor, you don't have to know what to do to join. I'm going to show you. Okay. So you have to be ready. You have to back it up. You have to show them how to be an influencer. The first thing that you want to do to develop them is teach them independence. Okay. Oh my gosh. Independence. How many times do you guys get new girls and they blow up your phone with questions? I was one of them. I'm not saying anything bad about that. I was one of them. I didn't know what I was doing. I asked all the questions. But thank God I had a great sponsor who showed me where to find the answers. Okay. She didn't just tell me, she showed me where to find them. She made me independent. I wouldn't be the leader I am today. And I don't think that I'm that bad of a leader. I wouldn't be the leader I am today if she hadn't done that for me. Okay. Show them, teach them how to be resourceful, give them assignments. I love this one, especially right now because we're focusing on the Pink Factory. We're focusing on getting all these new recruits, all this new class to Pink. Put them all in a group chat and give them assignments. Daily assignments are kind of a little bit overwhelming for them sometimes, but just post in that chat group. Put them all in a chat so they can all ask their questions in one place, and then give them resources to use, give them assignments to do. It's going to be so helpful to them. So he says, if they are hungry and coachable, this is going to work every time. You're going to tell, you're going to show, you're going to try, and you're going to do. Okay. So you're going to tell them first. You're going to help them out, throw them a bone, tell them. Then you're going to show them because you're going to be doing it. Because as a leader, you have to do it. You have to do it. You have to show them. You have to show them the way. And then they're going to try it. You're going to say, okay, you got to try it yourself now. Okay. Have fun at that party. And then they're going to just do it. Okay. And then they're going to do it to their team. They're going to tell, show, try, and do with their people. Okay. That's how you build leaders. So anywho, moving on. Problem solving. Now, bless Eric's little heart. He spent a ton of time on problem solving. I was sitting there kind of like, why are we spending so much time on this? People must have a ton of problems in their teams or something, because I couldn't connect with it because I don't. And I don't know if it's because probably because of my background as a nurse, I'm already a super good problem solver. But I realized that some of my leaders or some of my girls who someday will be leaders may not be and do need this. And so he was talking about creating a team pride, a team culture, and a code of conduct in your team. Okay. Like, we don't act this way, disrespect, things like that. He spent a ton of time on this. This must be an issue. I don't know about y'all, but my team doesn't have issues with this. He did say a few things that really helped me. He said, release disappointment. Okay. And change expectation to appreciation. So we all have those people who we just wish we could wring their little neck and make them do what we want them to do. Like a puppet master, like dance around, do what I need you. Hey, make that lash pose. Thank you. But that's not how it works. And I've been that way too. I'm sure my upline wants to wring my neck all the flipping time. But that's not the way it is. I should appreciate what they're doing and release my expectation of them, because they're not always going to be able to meet my expectation. And my expectation may be too much, or it may not be enough sometimes. This is their business. They get to make the decisions, and I have to appreciate that and love them where they're at. Okay. Release disappointment. Do not let, when somebody leaves your team, disappoint you. Don't let it depress you. Okay. So when problem solving, he says, change the meaning of it and control it. Just take control of the situation. Take control of it. If somebody leaves your team, fine, go find somebody else. Just problem solve. You're not going to sit there and dwell on it. You're going to sit there and cry about it. You're going to move on. Okay. He says, I love this. You're either going to win or you're going to learn. You're never going to lose. You're either going to win or you're going to learn. Love that. Okay. And I like this. Entrepreneur problem solving. 3 steps. You're going to say yes. So you're going to say, yes, I'm going to do that. You're going to tell the world, and then you're going to figure it out. So just like Black status. You want Black status, you need to make the decision that you're going to get there. You're going to tell the world, I'm going to be Black status, and then you're going to figure out how to do it. Okay. That's how entrepreneurs solve problems. Okay. Next thing was consistency. Okay. I'm horrible at this. Probably because I have a million things going on from day to day. But that's an excuse, and I have to be consistent. I'm very inconsistent about going live. I'm very inconsistent about sending out messages. I'm very inconsistent about everything, okay? But I can't tell my girls to be consistent while I'm being inconsistent. So you have to do what you're wanting your team to do. You have to be that person. You have to be that mentor. They're going to duplicate. They're going to watch. And you have to be that leader who leads them. Okay. So show up. Create a baseline of activity. This doesn't have to be a lot. It doesn't have to be a lot. Create a baseline. He says, if you're super busy, then create the baseline that you're comfortable with on the daily. I can do this daily. Okay. Now, if I have extra time, sure, I can throw extra stuff in there, but create a baseline and be comfortable with that baseline. And then, so vision, same thing, write it out, tell the world what it is. He wanted all of us to go home and do this. Create your vision. What do you want for your business this year? How many people are you taking to convention this year? How many team members are you going to have by the end of the year? How many pinks are you going to lead this year? What's your team going to look like? What status are you going to end in? He said, write it all down. Write it all down on paper. It's going to make it a lot easier to meet it. And it's going to make it a lot easier to make that decision to do it. Okay. And then create action. This is the last thing. Always, 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 always want to create action. I am always saying, talk is cheap. You got to show me. All right. You can tell me to the end of the world that you're sending out sponsoring messages. Show me your messages. Show me where are the people. I've had team members tell me they've sent out hundreds of messages, but they haven't sponsored anybody. So I'm like, you need to show me your messages, A, so I can look at them because something's wrong, or B, you're not really sending them out. So show me. Actions speak louder than words. We have to move into action. You can't just talk about it. I'm awful about that. I'm awful with it. I will say tonight before I go to bed, I'll say, you guys, I'm not going to bed tomorrow until I have 5 new people on my team. And then tomorrow I won't send out one message. I'm the same as everybody else. I'm bad at it. I know what I need to do, but it doesn't work. Okay. I'm going to do better. I'm going to get better. I've got to create action. Assignments help with that. I do very well with projects assignments. And that's one thing that I've learned from Eric. We had been doing daily task lists, and he says that actually projects are a little bit, he likes to do projects. It's kind of like a personal preference thing. And since I've moved to projects, I feel a ton better because I feel like I have a little bit more control over what I'm doing, whereas a daily task list tells you what to do. And I'm a control freak, so I like to have control over it. And so the assignments or the projects help me. Create action. You're going to inspire. You're going to create confidence in your girls. And some girls really like competition too. So if you have a team that really thrives on a competitive environment, then create a competition in your group. You have to be careful with that because some people don't like a creative environment. Okay, so it just kind of depends on your team culture. I know that I have an upline who's super competitive, and I have another girl that's on our team that's like, you tell her not to do something and she's like on it. You just gotta be that leader and know your girls and know what inspires them and what motivates them. Okay. And fall in love with performance, not potential. This kind of, Courtney, I saw you. I was totally talking about you. Fall in love with performance, not potential. That was huge for me too. How many times do you sign somebody up and their makeup is bomb and you're like, this girl is going to be amazing. She's so good at makeup. She's going to be amazing. And then you're like, she's not got any business mindset. Or she's not doing anything, or she's not very motivated, or she's putting spam out there. She's very negative. Like, that's, her potential was not the same, or her performance was not the same as her potential. You kind of had a higher expectation for her than she was able to come up to. So you have to be careful with that. And then don't doubt your abilities. You guys are all here for a reason. You've all made it this far for a reason. You've not quit. You've not given up. Stop doubting yourself, or stop making yourself seem smaller than you really are, because every one of you is amazing. And this was something that I really had to work on for myself, because I've always doubted my abilities, or I've always felt like I needed to shrink myself because I didn't want to seem boastful, or seem like I was bragging, or seem like I was too out there. I was afraid of making others uncomfortable, and that's what's been holding me back for a year now. I mean, I've been sitting here for a year waiting for something to come along, when I just needed to accept myself and play bigger and make that decision and go get it. And I think that that's the important thing that I learned. And yeah, you guys need to get to an event. I don't care what it is, a small training, a big training, a cheap training, an expensive training. Get to an event. The motivation is there, the knowledge is there, and sometimes you just need for it to light your fire. Convention is the best. But if convention seems too daunting, price wise, these small little trainings are just, they're amazing too. So, anywho, that's what I got, Ms. Kylie. Anybody got any questions?
Thank you, darling. That was so good. So many good golden little nuggets. I loved it. Were you just like, cheering the whole time?
I was just, I don't know. I was just in awe, because I cried. There was a part in the day when I cried, and it was actually, Eric had called out one of the girls that was there, and she had been sitting at a status for a really long time. And he said, God, I'm probably going to cry again. He said, her family wasn't very supportive. Her husband wasn't very supportive. And she said that, and he goes, your husband is tired of watching you crawl. Like, your family is tired of watching you suffer, and this business is a distraction for your family right now. At this point, you're not helping. It's not like you've hit it big, like you have always said you're going to. You started crawling, and now the business is just a distraction to your family. And I just was like, oh my gosh, I have the most supportive husband in the world. But I have even noticed over the last maybe 4 or 6 months, he's been a little bit more like, I don't really want to talk about it. Not as excited to hear about my business. And I know it's because he's getting tired of the time that I'm taking away and not seeing the benefits behind it, because he knows that I can do better.
Right.
And I know that. And Eric actually, he asked this presenter what her son's name was, and she told him her son's name was Colton, and he's like, Colton's tired of watching his mom crawl. When are you gonna run? And I just was like, oh my God, my kids want me to run. My kids want me to run. And so it was very emotional, but like that's the kind of thing that gets me. So,
yeah, that's
totally
so funny that you bring that up. Like literally, I talked about that story today. Well, not that specific story, but Eric told us kind of the same concept. He said the reason husbands are not supportive. Like I ran into a teammate at the place we were taking our kids today, and I said, the reason that husbands are not supportive is because you are not going all in, and they're not seeing any results. So you're caught in the scroll hole most days telling him that you're working and you're really not getting anything accomplished. Like I'll never forget a training I attended. It was Kelly Hudak in Canada. Maybe some of you guys are there. I don't know if we have any Canadians on this call, but she was talking about popping the popcorn and how if you keep going back to check on it and opening the door, you never even get a kernel. You know what I mean? Because you're just, oh, is it popped yet? Oh, did I do it? Oh, and that's a lot of times what we're doing is we're not actually showing up consistently in our business and sending the messages and doing the things, myself included. A lot of times the things that make me uncomfortable, those are the things that I put really far down on my list. And those are the things that I actually need to do the most, that are my income producing activities. And so what happens is you never see progress. And then that creates so much animosity between you and your spouse or you and your kids because mommy's working, but their life hasn't changed. When are you going to take them on a vacation? When are you going to show them the fruits of that labor? Right. Where I look at my family and I'm hoping that as they start to get a little bit older, they're 5 and 7 now, they're starting to see, okay, when mommy says, hey, I'm working, it's because she's been able to provide us with this life. So now they're starting to put 2 and 2 together. But it's also important, I think, to tell your kids what you're doing, to show them. And he talked a lot about that, I'm sure, while you guys were there with the family dynamics and things like that. Because, if you just tell your husband, listen, I'm just working, it doesn't always come off the right way. But if you actually explain to him why you're doing what you're doing and you commit to it. I mean, you commit to it in a sense, kind of like a marriage. Like you can't just date your husband every once in a while and expect to still have that chemistry, right? Like this business doesn't really work when you only do it every once in a while. It works when you show up consistently. And when you reach those ultimate goals, you can afford to take a break here and there, but it's a normal break. It's not a month where you don't do anything. It's, if you didn't show up to your nursing job for a month, do you think you would still have a job? You wouldn't, right? And I love that concept. And I was going to say this too regarding the, because I heard that feedback from somebody else that he covered a lot of like the drama within teams and things like that and like how to handle issues. And I think a big part of that and why he's teaching on that is the inoculation of what to expect when you do get that. Because the bigger, like you had kind of mentioned, Megan, that your team had dwindled down because you weren't doing the things every day and you hit this plateau and then all of a sudden you were kind of letting it fizzle. But as you get back into that rebuild mode, it's good to be prepared for the type of issues. Because I remember thinking that for a long time too, like we have the best team ever, there's no drama. And then drama happens and you're like, oh, I'm like the rainbows and butterflies girl. How do I handle this? You know what I mean? But it's good to be prepared for that because girls can be dramatic. That is for sure. But we're pretty lucky. We're pretty blessed for the most part. That's for sure. Does anybody else have anything that they want to add or ask Megan about this training? I think ultimately what we have to remember is, we need to figure out where we want to be this year. I think this is a year of change. Megan Dashley said this in our leader chat the other day, or no, it wasn't even our leader chat. I think it was the Wall of Influence chat. Somebody had asked, they said, is corporate going to throw anything else out here this month? Are they going to have another sale? And Megan was like, no, they're not. It's the kudos. We're not doing that anymore. And she was like, we did that for so long and it created this culture of kids, right? They expect you to reward them every time they move. And she said, what happened is our teams were just relying on carrots being dangled for them to run after something, right? Like ourselves included, we're like, oh my gosh, yay, we have a sale. We can go work for this, right? But what Megan kind of brought up, and I think this is huge as far as when we think about developing influencers within our team. Influencers are self-motivated. Influencers run even when nobody else is watching. They show up even when they don't feel like it. They don't just show up for a sale here and there, you know? And Megan said, I might be in the minority here. She said, but I personally am ready to suffer, you know, some slower months for us to become stronger. And, you know, February in the past has been amazing, and it still can be. But I think a lot of times people expect February to do the work itself instead of actually showing up and doing the work. And I think what we're going to see over 2019 is as we incorporate these systems and the teachings of Eric Worre, and we really start to just show up consistently and stop saying we're waiting on the comp plan to change and give us another bonus, or we're waiting on this to change. Like, you guys, you don't want to rely on them to do something to make up for your lack of becoming better. You know, like I would much rather become better because I don't want to have to rely on corporate to do that for me. They're not always going to do that. So what happens if we commit this year to just becoming better as a whole? Get your teams on these calls, you guys. It's crazy to me that every week we have these calls and we're not filling them, because it's all about promoting events. You know, if you haven't yet bought your ticket to convention, number one, you're crazy. You should buy your ticket to convention. But if you haven't, why aren't you on these calls? Why aren't your teams on these calls? Maybe they have excuses. But get them the energy of being in this atmosphere around like-minded people every single week. Because guess what? On Monday nights, it is hard for people to get back into the grind after the weekend. So what better way to reset your work week than to show up on these calls? But anyway, I'm totally going on and on. I swear I could talk for like 12 hours. But Megan, you're amazing. I appreciate you.
Oh, thank you.
Great job. If anybody else has anything to add, yes, they get you in the right mindset for the week, 100%. So next week, we are actually changing things up a little bit. Our regularly scheduled call is actually going to be on Tuesday of next week at 9 p.m. Mackenzie Weldon is leading. It's going to be really, really good, but she had another commitment at the exact same time. And it's actually my husband's birthday, so I figured maybe I, give him some attention Monday night. Isn't that too much information? Anyway, so next Monday is Chad Rigler's birthday, but Tuesday night, 9 p.m., we will be here, and Mackenzie will be leading our Zoom. I look forward to seeing you all then. Make sure you mark that down in your calendar so you don't forget. But thank you so much, Megan. Love ya.
Thanks, guys. Good night.